Hey, Tracy Lewis from Stuff and Things. I am going to open up this kit that I got with my last order, and of course I don't have my tools with me today. The kit is called Lots of Happy Card Kit, and it makes 5 different designs, and it comes with watercolor pencils as well as basic black for doing stamping of the sentiments, and the sentiments are right there. They're a little bit on the elaborate side, as well as you get a really pretty rose stamp. And if I can turn this over, it comes with some ombre green ribbon, a stamp block that is a little bit smaller than the paper pumpkin block, which is good. I can never have too many of those. And I see dimensionals. Here, let's turn it sideways so we can see everything better. Dimensionals, a whole bunch of envelopes, yeah, and we got some sand card bases, maybe Sahara sand, a bunch of die cuts. Those are just rectangular die cuts. Vellum leaf die cuts. The card. Oh, these are also die cuts with the black stripe, different sizes and shapes. And then the fun part, which is why I bought the kit, is that all of these elements you color in, and I was going to play with coloring them in with the blends versus coloring them in with the pencil. The pencils that come with it. And it looks like we get some gold foil labels as well. So I will get to coloring and come back and show you what things are looking like. Hi, Tracy Lewis from Stuff and Things, here to do a video on the Lots of Happy Card Kit. I did the unboxing a little bit earlier, and I'm finally getting to working with the kit. I discovered a very close likeness to one of the Celebration stamp sets that you get for free when you spend $50. It's called Lots of Lavender. And I will compare the differences. I actually made 2 cards very similar to each other. So this kit plus this free Celebration stamp set complement each other. And there's a lot of fun things you can do with the Lots of Happy Card Kit. I've got some alternatives as well to show you and talk about some of the fun ways that you can dress up this particular kit, as well as ways that you can use some of the extra pieces that you get. So I wanted to talk about your pencils that you get. The kit that you get when you buy the pencils, they have colors and Stampin' Up! Stamped on them. So I know that there's a duplicate, one duplicate that you get, and it's right here, Old Olive. However, the ones that you get 4 of them with the Lots of Happy Card Kit, and 3 of them are colors that don't come in the kit, or the watercolor pencil set. And there's no markings, so the way I can tell right off the bat which ones are which is I rotate my pencils, and the 4 that don't have any label on them come from the Lots of Happy. I am tempted to take my new label maker and make very small labels with the colors that they are. And this is Rich Razzleberry, and this is Pink Flamingo, I believe, and Lemon Lime Twist, and Old Olive. So I started with the kit because I had a color challenge to do, and the color challenge included these 3 colors. So that's how this whole thing started, and I grabbed one of the die cuts. You get these really cool die cuts that you can color any way you want, of course. So I immediately, not following the rules well, used different colors. And I'm going to show you what some of these look like. They're nice and large. They'll fit very nicely on A2 size. And I picked Okay, so then there's this small sprig here, and then a large one, which I'm digging for, which is really pretty right here. So these are there's a couple of smaller pieces too, but here are the large die cuts that you get. I want you to be able to see them. I went ahead and started out with this other big one that has very small flowers, and that is this 5th one here that's large. And I wanted to see the difference with the new blends, so that was a project I worked on. And I went ahead and made this thank you exactly the way the instructions say. So the instructions are nice. They give you the details of each of their cards. Now I'm really short of cards because I lost all of my cards. So these smaller ones, this is a small size and that is a small size. And then there's a 3rd small size with 2 A2 card styles. But I plan on going ahead and making, for the most part, A2. So that's what I was experimenting with my alternates, being that I am so short. This is actually going to be used to as a thank you for a friend of mine. And it was done per the instructions, and I really like their use of this lime green ribbon, where they actually do some unique things with it. This is what it looks like. It's actually very thin. It's an ombre green, and they double it up in cases where they want a fatter amount of green. So you can take that technique of doubling up your ribbon and making it like the label behind a gold label by just joining the two together and cutting accordingly with your scissors. So that's a good technique that I learned. This particular one I colored with blends, and I don't have the same colors of the pencils as I do the blends. So the colors were a little bit more muted, but they still, it was very easy to color on this particular cardstock that they provided the die cuts on, and I didn't have any problem with bleeding at all. So then I did a fancy alternate, and I really like how this one came out. I used, again, I found in my tool case that was recovered some cheesecloth, and I've been using it because I forget about this cheesecloth, and so I added this cheesecloth. I made this green ribbon kind of like a hanger. I took this gold, actually is from the leftover piece. I love it when they give you just enough material in between each of these, so I'm going to get 2 more gold under layers, even more if I choose to use this top one, which is a little bit bent, and the bottom one, which I think is still very usable. So at least 2, maybe 4. This layer here, this round pattern, comes and is used for one of the smaller sized cards, and I definitely like it framed in the green. So I will definitely be making use of this. I could even cut it into smaller pieces if I wanted to make more of it around the perimeter. And they give you a whole bunch of vellum leaves, just tons of them, that you can use any way you want, and I used mine to just stretch out the design, and I think that came out nice. One of the things that I could go back and do on this card if I wanted is Wink of Stella on the flowers, as well as pearls in the centers of the flowers. So this card is mostly done, but because it's pretty fancy, I will probably continue with making it fancier, and all of the pieces except the cheesecloth came from the kit. Now moving on to my test of the lavender, lots of lavender stamp set. So this is what the die cut looks like colored. What I found interesting about this die cut paper It's a little bit toothier, so not quite as smooth as the Whisper White, and it also isn't as creamy. I find that on here it's not as distracting, even though I can tell in this light that the white is a little bit of a gray white, not a creamy white, and I'm okay with that. So this card came out very nice. I really like this particular die cut a lot, so I was thinking, I wonder how it will look. I know that the Lots of Lavender was a little bit smaller, so I'm going to put that away. Now I'm going to bring in my little example of mimicking the die cut. This is using Whisper White, and notice I can tell that there's a creamier look to the pencils because the surface that it was coloring on is smooth, so it made the pencils blend in a creamier way. So I like both a lot. Yes, I think that this die cut is a bigger die cut, but you know what? All in all, I think I like the way this die cut works with the stamps that you get with the Lots of Happy set. You get a bunch of sentiments, and you don't get any sentiments with the lavender set. You just get images. So I think that mixing these two sets going forward is going to actually stretch the Lots of Lavender, the Lots of Happy kit, and get me a lot more mileage out of it. So I liked this experiment, and I think that I'm overall pretty happy with the way the Lots of Lavender, so that's the Lots of Lavender, and there is the larger of the die cuts. There is a smaller die cut that's much similar to this one. But I think I'm very happy with that, so that gives me 2 more cards to add. And then this card I made up using this is Sahara Sand, and I altered it slightly from the instructions on the set. I actually really like this green. So I did another application with the green where I'm kind of crisscrossing, and again having my angled ends complement each other. The other thing I might add to this one is I might put some cheesecloth, just stuff a little cheesecloth up here and down here to give it a little more life. And then I could Wink of Stella the flowers. And then I think this card will be pretty complete. So I have made, when you get the kit, the Lots of Happy kit has enough materials to make 20 cards. So I'm hoping that I will be able to get more than the 20 cards because, see, I'm not using, they have 4 shapes with the gold foil trim. So in the case where I'm doing my own cards, I can do some clean and simple designs with the die cuts or the Lots of Lavender stamp set and the sentiment here. So I'm going to be able to get a ton of mileage, I think, out of this kit for the $35 that it cost. And then with the free Lots of Lavender, you just can't beat it. So I had one more thing I wanted to do. All of the envelopes come with the black and white stripes. And I think 3 of the 5 designs that they put together come with some various sized and shapes of stripes. And I was going to grab one of the stamps that you get in addition to the sentiments is a rose. And I'm going to go ahead and color very quickly the envelope. And I also noticed another complement between the Lots of Lavender and Lots of Happy that I will put on the other side of the envelope. So that is the stamp, the floral stamp that comes with Lots of Happy. And over here is probably the same designer, I would imagine, because they're so similar. So this stamp set that I'm going to show you comes from the Lots of Lavender. And it could even be that they gave them names that were very similar for a reason, who knows. And then this is the lots of lavender flower. And so I think that they are definitely along the same lines, and I'm going to color them. In this case, I'm not doing the blue for this envelope. I am doing the pinks that came, these two pinks and these two greens. And I try to do a very faint with the light and then go back in with the dark. In the shadowy areas that are showing the depth of the flower. Something like that. And I'll do the same with the flower on the back. I like to keep my pencil lines going in the same direction. I pick a direction and I stick with it. Just for some uniform, keeping a uniform look to it. All right. Again, I'm just doing the shadows in the depths. Oh, I see a little pink flower here. And then the little popcorn flowers on the big card. I actually colored those pink as well. One thing I like about the colored pencil is it's like a pretty harmless, very easy, light way of coloring. The blends are pretty simple because I'm using very small images when I color them. Whereas when I do Copic coloring, I tend to do larger, more complicated images that take a lot more time. So it's kind of fun to have a few mediums to do quick coloring projects that are easy and fast to finish. And I'm just darkening the shadowy part of the leaves where they attach to the stem. But you can pick your shadows wherever you want them to be. And then one other thing that I'm going to show as soon as I finish this is, you know, I used to own the Misty, and I've ordered the Stamparatus, which is a stamp positioner tool like the Misty. And I am challenged. I have not bought a replacement. I'm waiting for the Stamparatus to come out, and I don't get that until April. So in the meantime, since all three of my Misties are gone, I'm trying to make do without them in the meantime. It is, of course, very challenging, and one of the things I found, so there's my coloring finished for the front and the back of the envelope. And these little balls, I could go ahead and make colors as well. What I found, when I was stamping my words, and I don't have my Misty to be able to stamp again, a couple of them did not work well, like this one, which is already done, I had to fix. And how I fixed it is with one of my sets of Copics that I have, which have the super fine nib. These are the original. You can take a complementary color and very lightly take your fine, you could use any black, or I would not use a black to fix your text. I would use a dark gray. This is a neutral 7 on a scale of 1 to 10, so it's a fairly dark neutral gray. And I'm having good luck. Of the 5 that I did 5 cards, 2 of them had stamping issues, and then I even have this one that I fixed. So, you know, it's not perfect, but I'm pretty sure that any of my recipients of these cards will be totally happy with it and will not notice that I have colored it in darker. So that's another trick that I have learned as a way to salvage these fine gold foil edged die cuts, that you can't really just turn them over and stamp because the back doesn't have the foil. So that is all I have for you today. I hope you found it interesting to play with this stamp set and see all my alternatives, just like I do the paper pumpkin alternatives. And I plan to get a lot of miles out of my free Lots of Lavender set, as well as the Lots of Happy card kit, in which you get the 20 pieces to make 20 cards. I might even cut these envelopes apart. If I'm not going to use them in the small size, I might cut the black and white out and get more miles out of those envelopes, since I have plenty of A2 sized envelopes. Thanks for watching.